Typically, outros don't push forward a TV show. It's just there to have some background music as it shows the team that put care, effort, and hard work to put out that TV show we watch as entertainment. We don't usually come back to the outros to commemorate it. We mainly only go back to listen to the music repetitively. However, what if I told you that there's a TV show that the outro is so impactful, it makes the overall episode that much better. An outro is able to make the episode even better by just the animation, music, color choices, and the visual aspects. That TV show I'm talking about is The Ramparts of Ice, and its brilliance of its Season 1 outro. Hello Ninjas, welcome back. In today's video, we explore more on the anime genre. This time, we'll be exploring an anime show in the name of The Ramparts of Ice. We'll be covering the outro and how it makes each episode better just because of a simple outro. How the visuals, animation, characters, colors, and the vibe help bring together each episode's conclusion. It finds a way to make the episode feel more impactful. Like, damn, that just happened. And then having to wait an entire week with no little answer, eagerly waiting for the next episode to air. Dales, you can just read the manga, you know. Allow me to remind you that I have not yet read the mangas of the adaptations. I just started on Fragment Fire. I'm down 2 volumes. I have plenty more to go. So if there is something I did not mention that should be known, please let me know in the comments. Respectfully. And a reminder, this is my interpretation. Yours may be different from mine, and that's okay. Everyone interprets things in their own way, and that's completely okay. You can disagree in the comments, that's no big deal. All I ask is for you to respect my interpretation. That is all. If you think I misinterpreted it, respectfully say in the comments, okay? We're not here to bash, fight, or do whatever, okay? Just be respectful, because that's the only way I can have improvement on my YouTube videos. By you giving me feedback on how I misinterpret things, or how I should view things differently. We will dive deep into the outro and how it helps strengthen the character's developments for the series as a whole, and what it portrays to each character. One more note I should make. We are not going to be diving into the lyrics of the song. I don't know Japanese, and the point of this is to talk visually, not the lyrics. Now then, let's move into deep dive discussion of the brilliance of the outro that is, The Ramparts of Ice. In order to talk about the outro, we need to dive deep into the visual aspect of it step by step. The outro begins by rolling through an ice wall. Then it shows Koyuki, the main character of the series. As she turns around, she gets blocked out by the ice wall and begins to slowly fade away from it. This is to portray what she's known as at the beginning of the series, the Ice Queen, due to her past traumas in middle school, having to change her identity, appearance, and what she personally gives off. To her, she's just being her normal self. But due to others, she looks fearful, frightening, scary, and sometimes so fearful that they feel anxious about responding to her. Multiple times at the beginning, they would have a worrisome face because they do not know what Koyuki's going to do to them. Maybe even they run off as well. Ice will also show what she has done to herself towards others because of how much she isolated herself from the rest of the world, only talking to Miki at times. She does not want to handle the past traumas she had to face during middle school, which is mainly active bullying from others, making fun of her height, forcing herself into a relationship she never wanted in the first place, and being mocked in front of many other people. Even being mocked sometimes because she was just a girl. Yet every time, whenever an interaction between her and someone else, she wonders if that was the right thing to say or express, leaving a sense of self-doubt, overthinking every thought, isolation, and the feeling of uncomfort after a conversation was had. You begin to have secondary thoughts as to why that reaction was shown by you or someone else. Was it my fault? Was it their fault? Should I have done this differently? How do I keep a conversation going? This is what Koyuki is facing every day. It's the act of a wall that cannot be budged due to past experiences and refusing to move on from it. As she fades away, we can see Koyuki reaching out with her hand towards some colors, red, orange, and yellow. Now, there's symbolism to each of these colors, so let's dive deep into it. The red is the passion and love side of Koyuki. Slowly as the series progresses, we can see a more emotional, passionate side of Koyuki, especially towards Minato. But she doesn't know what she is feeling because she does not want to let go of the good times they four have been having all this time together. She feels as if she dates Minato, the perspective changes from the group, and the enjoyment they've been having ever since is lost due to that. She's nervous because she's never had this feeling before. In episode 9, we can go all the way back to it where she said that she wasn't looking to date someone. But throughout the season as it progressed, her perspective towards Minato changed, becoming more flustered, blushing, getting scrambled with the words, mumbling a lot towards him. She has a feeling for Minato, but doesn't want to commit because of the past experiences she's had with Igarashi, for example. How is she able to try and not allow it to happen again with this person that she's having feelings towards? How can she find that balance in life? Which we then move on to orange. The orange acts like the central balance of the red and the yellow. It's just how Koyuki often sits in the background, rarely talking to anybody, not wanting interaction due to her middle school experiences. She doesn't want to handle those issues again. So she figures, if I just lay back, only talk to my actual genuine friends, I won't have to deal with it ever again. That's why we saw her change her identity so much, because of that sole reasoning. Fearing that sense of belongingness and a sense of unknowingness because of the many emotions you portray on screen. Never knowing what's the right answer to say. You don't know what you're feeling at the moment, and you don't know what the thought of they are. So it forces you to think, is it this route? Is it this one? This one? This? Is it ugly? Is it bad? Is it horrible? Is it terrible? You don't know. So you have to just think about it on it, and because of the past traumas you've experienced, you never know what the right answer to say. The yellow is the last color shown. The yellow shows the complex emotions that Koyuki's always portraying, the sense of doubt, being an overthinker, and uncertainty. It's how orange is in the middle that shows it. Orange has both red and yellow aspects. It's the balance that is needed in life. While yes, you will have complex emotions, and you will also have passion and care for one another, you need to find the right balance of both in order to live a peaceful life. Let's further expand upon this, right? So, you're going to have a good side, and you're going to have a bad side yourself, okay? Sometimes the bad will lead to mistakes. However, because those mistakes could actually lead to something good, that's how you find the balance between one another. You need to find a way to make that bad turn into something good. And that's how we create our life balances and our life choices. Well, yes, we can make a bad mistake. We could still turn to good. Maybe something actually good could turn to be bad, and that's completely okay. You have to find that right balance to better suit your scenarios of when to do it and when not to do it. And remember, you can always fix mistakes. There's nothing wrong with making a mistake because we can always improve upon ourselves. There is ways to do it, and we all know we can believe in ourselves. Because as long as you believe in yourself, anything can happen. The next portion of the outro shows our main characters in this order. Minato, Koyuki, Yota, and Miki. Each having its own color set twice. The first set has Minato with a yellow tone, showing the adventurous joyfulness of himself throughout the series. The second is Koyuki, this time with blue, showing the trust she has with the crew, expressing her emotions towards Yota in perception, being there for Miki, and Yota on multiple occasions. The third set is Yota with the color red. Now this type of red has a different meaning for Yota. While it still portrays the love Yota has for Miki, it's more of a darker tone. Feeling a sense of danger, Yota expresses his feelings for Miki, as he believes the situation will get worse. Feeling that sense of emotional impact, which is also the reason why Yota and Koyuki get along so well since they've lived similar lives and experience the same sense of loneliness. Lastly, we have Miki with orange. This is to portray the two lives she was living. One with the group, Yota, Minato, and Koyuki, feeling more like herself, and one with her other friend group, blending in to just fit in with them before expressing her truest self. She needed to find that balance from one another, and in episode 8 she did, changing her hairstyle and being more outgoing with the group and her own high school friend group. We then proceed to get a darker aspect of each character with new color sets. We begin with Minato, who has dark blue and purple. Purple being the balance and creativity Minato, and dark blue being the loyalty and commitment he wants towards Koyuki. The entire portion of the series, Minato has had a crush on Koyuki and wants to know more about her. He feels appreciated when Koyuki wants him to read something, interact with her, or do something together. Or heck, just walks up to him and says, "Hey, hi, good day to you." Purple in this case can also mean being sensitive. When Momoko is persuading Minato that a friend doesn't view other friends as more than just a friend, it changes perspective on Koyuki, wondering if that was why she was avoiding her a ton and not wanting to interact with her at all in the conclusion of season 1. He never really thought of it like that. He thought, oh, I'm just a friend of Koyuki. I think she's fine if I just ask for something or interact with her more often, you know? And plus, Koyuki was interacting with Minato a lot more than usual. So when you see a different perspective from it, because Momoko knows that they both like each other, knows that Koyuki likes Minato, knows that Minato likes Koyuki, she's trying to persuade it to where she's trying to avoid him. Which then makes him rethink his values, being like, am I doing too much for her? I do want to ask, but why is she avoiding me? That's why I'm talking about sensitive, because he doesn't know what's the right and what's the wrong. The next set has Koyuki with red and yellow. We already talked about what this relates to with Koyuki, so we move on to Yota, which has the cooler tone blue and green. The blue in this case is a sense of peace, knowing that Yota has feelings for Miki, but doesn't want to confess at any point. And then the green shows the growth, Yota having more time alone with Miki, and throughout the series seeing more physical touch from Miki, the box falling on her, her grabbing Yota during the horror attraction, and being more close with her throughout the solo adventures they went on, like the dam visit. You can see many times he is blushing when he's around Miki, or just simply photos of him and Miki together, when he's viewing it from the phone at home. The last set has Miki with a dark and cooler tone of blue, representing both the stability and the safety Miki has when she's with her friends. She feels the most comfortable around Yota, Minato, and Koyuki because of how much care they have for one another. They support one another no matter what, and they are there for them no matter what. The dark blue tone can also represent introspection, which means examinations of one's thoughts and feelings, which is what Miki went through when she realized that Yota had a crush on her. This whole time, Miki thought they were genuine good friends, but seeing it through that lens is something she cannot handle at the moment. Miki viewed Yota as a genuine good friend. She adored him for that, she appreciated him for that, and they were overall just being great friends. And Yota didn't want to break that. Yota knew that if he goes to the next step and confess, he's worried that it will go back to how it was just being a friend, but further back, to the point where they won't interact with each other anymore. Exactly happened in episode 14. I would show it, but I don't have the clipping for it, alright? Anyways, that's besides the point. Miki doesn't view Yota as someone who could be a boyfriend, someone who can be the next step in a relationship. She only viewed all four of them as just genuine good friends. She also thought that Yota and Kuroki was supposed to be a relationship. Actually, it's not. So just crumble that up and throw it out of here. It's the way that you have to try and find that peace and balance in life that we come back to always. Because Miki didn't have that. She's trying to handle her own situation between the episodes, and then she has this happening to Yota. There's so much happening that she can't take control of it. These color choices help shape the characters as a whole and what they portray as a character, helping expand upon the character in its own way throughout the series. The next part is each individual character with a visual aspect. It begins with Minato, having chains and keys as well as locks unlocked. This shows the uncertainty Koyoki and Minato have as a relationship. They don't know if they can go forward with this as they believe it will hurt the group as a whole. Minato doesn't know how to confess to her, and Koyoki has feelings for Minato. However, she doesn't want to lose what is such a wonderful group, laughing at the good moments they've had towards one another. We can also build upon further with the aspects of the keys and locks shown in the visual. Koyoki has found her true self through Minato, a sense of self-discovery. At the conclusion of episode 9, Koyoki said that she didn't want to date anyone due to past mistakes and relying on herself rather than having to rely on somebody else. And also not wanting to handle that situation again with Igarashi, that she put herself into, by the way. This aspect then changes with Minato, feeling a sense of self-discovery and trust through Minato. It also comes with boundaries and protecting memories they've already made. She thought she wouldn't have feelings for Minato, but as it slowly changed, she began to find herself more and more through the eyes of Minato. She never had someone that looked through the lens of someone who actually cared for her and appreciated her. She never felt trusted. But with Minato, she feels a lot more sense of comfort around him specifically, which she appreciates so much. And now she doesn't know how to handle it, portraying how the locks are unlocked, but the key isn't in the lock. If we go back to the visual, you can see that keys are flying all over the place, with the lock specifically being unlocked, because Koyoki hasn't entered the key inside the lock to break the chains open and accept it. Because she won't accept it because she doesn't know what to feel about it. She specifically said, I don't want to date anyone because I have the nervousness from what Igarashi happened with her, all her trauma and such. However, she can't deny that she's having feelings for Minato. In episode 13, Perception, she literally confessed to Yota that she likes Minato. Yet, she doesn't want to lose the value of this friendship. She doesn't know what to do. That's why the lock is unlocked and the keys are just flying around space. She hasn't found the way to put it in yet. She has it ready, but she hasn't accepted it yet. Concluding here with Minato, we head over to Yota, which has red and green, with a fiery tone in the background. Green and red are complementary colors, which means the opposite. Y'all have seen a color wheel before, I know you guys know what that means. This shows the peace and passion for Yota, wanting to not confess towards Miki, but also has a passion to hang out with her, wanting to do more. He does not want to screw things up with what they have as genuine good friends. The fire in the background represents change, as Yota is slowly expressing more fluster and blushing towards Miki when he's around her. The dam is a perfect example of it, as well as the section in Perception at the very end with the cardboard stuff. It also shows him glitching, which means that he is losing control. He had to confess to Miki to just resolve things, and he feels as if it was his fault. He was the reason the perspectives between other have changed due to him confessing and Miki finding out in episode 14, Bombshell. Heading over to Koyoki, we can see her middle school appearance to her high school appearance, showing a sense of change and more self-discovery. Her character has evolved throughout the series and its episodes, becoming more open with the group around her and feeling that sense of belongingness. Lastly is Miki, where two sides are shown. On the left is her fake side that she has shown to her high school friends. On the right is her real self that she has shown towards Yota, Koyoki, and Minato, with that orange tone in the background to show balance in life. In the front half of season 1, you can see these two sides being shown. If Miki was with Yota, Minato, or Koyoki, she was herself. But if she was with her high school friend group, she would be someone else. Essentially, a persona. Someone that you aren't actually being. Which is okay sometimes, but you really shouldn't be doing that. Because if you just fake stuff saying, yeah, I've seen that book, I've read that book, I saw the TV show. You aren't being yourself. Every time you finish a conversation, you're gonna go, why did I say that? Why do I feel like this is the wrong thing to do? Because you aren't being yourself. Because in life, sometimes we have to say yes just to move on with a point. But you never should be forced to do something that you don't want to do. Which is what Miki had to do to just fit in because of the past trauma she's had with protecting Koyoki and doing the many other things she had to do as well. That's why she had to find that perfect middle to be able to find that truest self of hers, in which we can back it up by her hairstyle changing and being more freely expressive in the back half of season 1. Because the second half, she was way more like herself. She didn't care about the opinions of others. She just allowed herself to be freely expressive without having to have a fake persona of herself. In life, we always have 3 faces: a personal face, a friend face, and an outsider face. And that's okay. As long as you're being yourself, that is perfectly fine. Just don't put a persona on just to fit in. Find that right friend group that allows you to feel belong, that allows you to be freely expressive of yourself. Don't allow any boundaries to cross your path. Be yourself and be free. The remainder of the outro has no correlation to any of the characters, so let's wrap up all of this in a bow. This outro helps add to the character's overall character development by showing each individual's character struggles, whether that's Koyoki trying to find the balanced life with her feelings towards Minato and not wanting to break this wonderful bond she's been enjoying with Minato, Yota, and Miki. Find that self-discovery of hers through them. Minato trying to find that sense of trust and loyalty for Koyoki and being there for the group when it's necessary. Yota being peaceful with the way things are, but feeling that sense of lostness when he finally confessed to Miki about his true feelings towards her, wanting to go back to how things were previously. Or Miki finding that truest self and not wanting her actual feelings to get the best of her, feeling that sense of paranorma when something feels off. The outro shows it through the visual aspects and the color tones to help further strengthen the character development for us, the viewer, to understand the series. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the outro for the Ramparts of Ice anime series is beautifully crafted. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I didn't want to make a serious review nor a character deep dive on this anime, as it still has a season 2 to be aired in October, so sometime next year we will return that. And no, I don't even think I'll be able to get to the manga by the end. Well, maybe I am. I'm about to get Volume 3 of Fractal Flower, like extremely soon, probably today or tomorrow. And there's about 15 for English, so maybe. But to be fair, after I'm doing Apothecary Diaries, so it might take a bit, but maybe, honestly, I'm not too sure. What I can confirm is I have an idea of a series for the mangas and the TV shows. I have the name of it, like, Will It Manga, but I just don't have the name confirmation right now. Basically, I want to do a series where I rate on how good the adaptation of the TV show is from the book and see if you should watch it or if you shouldn't. I think it'll be a fun idea. I gotta get through Fractal Flower first in order to do that. So I'd say maybe September or October, I would probably make that. But, this outro is becoming too long. Let's just keep going with it. Next week, I will do another game review, this time on the Plucky Squire. It came out in 2024, and it's one of my favorite indie games that no one's presented on. So why not? As always, make sure you like, subscribe, share the video to your friends, subscribe to me more videos, hype up, and click that little bell so you get notified for when I upload and go live on the YouTube, and only the YouTube, until I get third monitor, and I will do Twitch as well. All credit goes to Netflix and the creator of the show for making this awesome show. Links in the description, as well as credited in the end credits screen of the video. Thank you again for watching. This Ninja sign out.